Hôm nay đi Disney World Animal Kingdom, trời mưa tầm tã. Nhìn coi. Wow, mưa tầm tã luôn. Mưa sấm sét tầm tã. Đi vô coi coi cái cổng mình. Đi vô ở đâu nha. Wow. Đội đầu lên để ướt con. Đội lên để ướt đầu. Đội lên đi. Được không? Rồi. Đi vô này nha, để ướt. Nói chú Diêm đi hả? Ok. Giờ để gọi mẹ coi mẹ đang đâu, vô tới đây rồi. Anh vô trong rồi nè, giờ em đang ở đâu? Navy River, giờ em send cho anh cái location đi là dễ nhất. Send giống như hôm qua em send nó là đi dễ nhất à. Ok ha. Ok, send liền đi, em đang đứng trên đây chờ. Bye bye nha. Rồi để cho mẹ gửi cái địa chỉ mình tới nha. Rồi mẹ gửi cái location rồi. Ok. Direction. Mình đi bộ 4 phút nữa con ơi. 4 phút nữa. Ok, thôi mình đi. Sao con? Đi. Chú này chú hồi nãy á, chú này là chú bị cái chân chú bị yếu, chú đi không được, chú ngồi xe lan nghe chưa? Ok, thôi mình đi.
Đó là exactly cái
đi ra rồi mới đi cái dòng sông Navy River. Trời mưa tầm tã.
Em trong khi xếp hàng ở đây á, vô đi với Út Kỳ cái kia đi. Trong khi này vô xếp hàng ở đây, vô đi đi.
Anh vợ nó còn ngủ có trong ba lô mà.
Đi đâu?
Đi coi thú nãy cái đi cái xe á. Vậy đi coi thú có ai à?
Có điện thoại.
Có không thú.
Đi đi, tại anh đi với nó mà. Hay là em muốn đi nó? Em đi đâu? Em đi. Em đi đi. Đi nó đi. Quay anh chứ.
Con đánh đi. Wow.
Hay không? Thay vớ. Không ra chỗ nào mua quần hay thay vớ. Sáng giờ đói bụng không ăn gì không?
Hả?
Ăn gì không?
Sáng em ăn nửa ổ mì ấy rồi.
Để kiếm cái nào có cái ấy anh nè.
Sợ con ướt không?
Con ướt cái đầu à, còn cái người khổ lắm. Muốn mướn cái xe đẩy không? Chứ để bồng kiểu này đuối rồi, nãy anh bồng nó từ ngoài vô đây mà anh đuối rồi đó. Cookie được trải nghiệm đi sở thú vào ngày trời mưa bão ở Florida. Ngày chưa giông bão. Chưa đi giông bão. Chuẩn bị đi rừng safari cho Cookie coi thú. Chuẩn bị đi rừng safari. Mình đâu có vô đâu hả? Mình đứng đây chứ. Mình đứng đây chứ mình đâu có vô làm chi. Thì Cookie ngồi kế rìa, anh ngồi rìa nè, Cookie ngồi kế rìa. Cho quay. Mình vô mình coi thú á Cookie. Coi con hươu cao cổ, coi con voi nè, coi con lion nè. Con này là con thiệt nha, không phải con giả nha, thiệt luôn á nha. Chưa, con chưa thấy con thiệt đâu, bây giờ mới thấy nè. Vậy hả? Ok. Rồi. Nhìn thú nha. Thú tè loe luôn. Con sẽ coi thú tè loe ốc ma hết.
Animal spotting guide. Now we're probably not going to see every single one of those animals here, but we do have some pretty good ones. I have a few rules though. Please stay seated the entire safari. That includes little ones. Don't
Cái này là mình vô rừng đó nha con.
Keep your hands, arms,
tí nữa con sẽ thấy thú ở bên đây nè, bên đây.
We brush up against some thorny brush.
Nhiều lắm.
And just remember that these are real wild animals, so please don't call out to them and make any loud noises that can spook them.
Đâu có gì trên đó đâu.
Start off our adventure in the Little Eturi Forest.
Ủa, có cái dòng sông con hà mã sống hay gì
It
nè?
looks like on top of the hill to the right, there's two okapis, which have white stripes on their legs. They're kind of like zebra stripes. But the
Có cái con ngựa
okapis
vàng
are the
kìa.
only known relative
Không, con gì
to
không phải ngựa vàng.
Very similar skeletal structure without the long neck, of course. They were believed to be mythical creatures until 1901. Some people just thought that they were way too good to be true, but they are true. I think they're pretty great. They have an old nickname of the African unicorn.
The African unicorn.
The animals definitely like to stay close to a source of water, which is why we're going to check out this watering hole.
I see another animal.
They can gather here together, get a drink of water, cool themselves off, especially on a hot day, but looks like there's still a black rhinoceros against that rock wall all the way to the left.
Wow.
Smaller types of rhinos, they only
Con gì nó nằm trong kia ghê không?
have a pointed upper prehensile lip, meaning that they
À
can
đúng
use it to
rồi,
grab
thấy nó
things
nằm
like
nó đang ngủ không?
bushes. They can charge about 35 miles per hour on average, and they are one of those bugs.
Đó, nó động đậy nó như vậy
For
á.
crashing into things, which is why a group of rhinos
Tê giác
is
hả?
crash. On the right, the reddish-orange colored antelope are called bongos. That beautiful coloring is a grease that covers their coat, and because of that, it's been considered taboo to poach them. You could literally get caught red-handed. And they are the ghosts of the forest, rarely ever heard or seen. We have a relative up ahead to the left, a tan-colored antelope called the greater kudu, and the largest of the forest-dwelling antelope in Africa. The big black and white birds are saddle-billed storks.
Có con chim kìa.
They stand about 5 feet tall. They have a 9-foot wingspan and meet for
Có con
length.
cò nào đẹp quá ta.
You have a mating pair here. The one in the water is a male with brown eyes, and the other one is a female with bright yellow eyes. It's the only way that we can tell them apart just by looking at them. Next, we're going to head down to the Safi River, which is home to some of Africa's more aquatic animals. Probably want to keep an eye out into the water. We actually usually have a little bit better look at the other side of the river. Although you may see something here too, so still keep an eye out in the water.
Con hà mã mà xuống nước.
On the left-hand side, there's some hippos in the water.
Hippo.
Wow,
hà mã nè.
Their time in the water, but they don't even know how to swim. Are too
Nó đá
dense.
cuối quá.
Instead, they
Ô, có
sink
con gì
to the
đậu
very
trên
bottom,
con gì
and they
đậu
will
cây kìa, con
tiptoe
chim con
along
cò
the bottom of the water. They get about 5,500 pounds on average, yet they can outrun us
Đó,
on
nó đang
land
nằm
about
đó kìa.
35
Hà
miles
mã
per
nằm
hour.
đó không?
And one of Africa's most
Chim nè.
dangerous. They don't even
Ừ,
eat
nó
meat.
đái á.
Eat plants, herbivores, but very territorial. The big
Mấy
whitish
con này nó không cần toilet gì hết, nó mắc đái hả? Đái luôn.
There actually is a little baby hippo back there. Just a few days old.
Ừ, tại nó mắc đái.
It kind of blends in with the mom, it's so tiny. They're born at about 50 to 100 pounds after about a 18-month pregnancy. Underneath the bridge, there are some Nile crocodiles. Just remember to stay fully seated, especially
Cá
here.
sấu kìa.
They get about 16 to 20 feet long, which is about as long as a giraffe is tall. And they can jump their body length outside of the water. They have a bite force of about 2,000 pounds versus branch crushing bones. You really won't see them moving around a whole lot. They spend a lot of their time conserving energy in between their meals, so they are very still, and they have very quick reflexes. Now we're going to head towards the savannah, which is where we will be spending the most of our time. It has vast open grasslands, and it is a great place to find some more animals. Around the corner to the right, there's a baobab tree. It's called the upside down tree because it looks like it's been planted upside down. It's also called the tree of life for its ability to hold about
Có cây gì bự lắm nè, có kỳ
1,000
wow.
gallons of water, up to 10,000 gallons. And it's shrunk by staying leafless 9 months out of the year, collecting the rainwater.
Wow, cây
So
bự
it's
ghê
known
ha.
as the tree of life because the animals can break open the trunk, which can get them a drink of water during the dry season. This is my favorite view of the savannah. It's beautiful up here, and I can see some animals kind of far away. We'll eventually catch up to them, but maybe we can find something a little closer to us. Most of them have migrated a little further into the savannah, but there are some cattle not too far away from us. with really large horns on their heads called Anglo-American cattle. And there's a den somewhere in this area where we sometimes find some predators. It's just a little further up to the left behind the bushes. Inside of that den to the left, there are some African wild dogs. We'll get a little closer. They're also known as the painted dogs. They have beautiful markings. As unique to them as our fingerprints are to us. But they are not like your pups at home.
Wow.
The most successful hunters on the savannah, they hunted packs and chase their prey to the point that it drops of exhaustion. So they are very dangerous. I think they're very cute. Here are some ankle-leg cattle. These horns can get up to 8 feet long. They're not very heavy though. The structure on the inside is like a honeycomb, which will hold blood vessels, circulate blood throughout their bodies, and keep them cool. It's like their own personal AC unit attached to their heads. The large mounds next to the road are termite mounds. They are made of dung, dirt, and termite saliva. They get as hard as concrete in the hot savanna sun. So animals like elephants and giraffes will use them as scratch posts, which will wear them down over time. An antelope can stand right on top of the worn down ones to use them as a lookout, looking out for predators. On the hill to the left, there are some sable antelope, which are dark brown antelope. Very territorial, more fight than flight, so they use those spear-like horns that point backwards to fend off any attacking predators that jump on their backs. I'm seeing a whole lot of wildebeest up ahead. They travel in really large herds, and the largest migration in Africa is made up of about 1.5 million wildebeest. So those are all those silverish colored animals up ahead. And the sable antelope, you can see them a little bit better from here. So wildebeest sometimes travel in such large groups that they create strategies to sleep. They'll line up in rows and group up facing different directions so that they can avoid running into each other if they have to hurry up and run away from a predator. They do make a sound. It's called gnu, G-N-U, and it's kind of like a grunting sound, but it does sound a lot like the name, which is why they're nicknamed the gnu. And it's most common to hear that as they're migrating. A little further up on the left, there are some Maasai giraffe, a tower of them, which is a group. Makes sense that their groups are called towers because they're literally a tower of everything almost 20 feet tall. They're born at about 6 feet tall after 13 months of pregnancy. Hello. Baby over there.
Wow.
And you mostly see them eating about 20 hours out of their day is just eating. They only need a total of 30 minutes of sleep each and every day, which you get for little power naps, 30 seconds to 5 minutes at a time, whatever it's most convenient, and usually standing up with their eyes wide open to track predators into thinking they're awake and alert. We have a lot of knocked down trees in this area, and elephants are natural bulldozers. They are so large that they have to clear a path for themselves. The largest elephant on this reserve is about 13,000 pounds. I know that we do have them in this area. They're behind the trees up ahead to the right. I can see one just a little bit. So we'll keep moving until we can get a better view.
I see it.
African elephants, I can tell because we're in Africa. But if you see their ears, they resemble the shape of the continent, which is an easy way to remember it. Might be able to get a little better view too once we move up. There's a break in the bushes up here. They are a matriarchal society, so females are in charge. Females kick the males out once they reach maturity of about 13 to 15 years old. Males travel alone or band together and create their own herds called bachelor herds. This is actually a mother and a daughter though. The daughter's a little bit smaller. They like to spend time away from their herd to bond. They're very social, so sometimes elephants, especially earlier in the day, will hang out with friends and family members. Sometimes even migrate alongside other herds. Later in the day, they do head back into their own herds, and at night, these are also It's easier to tell if they have any babies in their herds. The youngest in the female herd here is about 6 years old, but they do have a 22-month pregnancy to a 300-pound baby. Actually, the one that's 6 years old is just a little further up ahead. You can see how she's still pretty tiny, at least compared to the rest. So they do reach full maturity at about 13 to 15
Cây này làm sao trồng được hay thiệt ta?
Which is not quite as long as humans, but
Wow, cái cây này trồng được hay
definitely
thiệt.
a lot closer than some other animals. Looks like there is a flamboyance of the greater flamingos, which are the
Xéo nè. Wow.
They get their frequency after about 2 years from their diet of brine shrimp, which contains beta-carotene. On the right, on top of the hill, there are some springbok, a very small tan-colored antelope. They stand about 3 feet tall.
Nó một phiên mà.
6 feet in the air. 13 feet
Màu trắng
across
có
when
cái
they're
một phiên
alarmed
kìa,
or
thấy một
excited.
phiên không?
It's called pronking, and they can run between 50 to 60 miles per hour on average, making them the second fastest land mammal. And those flamingos, there's a few different theories why they might stand on one leg. It is mostly believed to help regulate body temperature, kind of like sticking one leg outside the covers at night to cool yourself off. Flamingos will just put one leg up. Looks like something may have been rolling in this mud wallow. Some animals will use mud as a natural sunscreen or a bug repellent, and it can be a really great way to cool themselves off by coating their skin in mud when they're in the hot sun. Keep an eye out for any animals that are covered in mud. Now sometimes animals can be a little hard to spot on these hills, but I definitely recommend keeping an eye out to the left. Some animals will use those trees as a shelter. And I do actually see some cheetahs in the grass to the left. Mostly look for their spots. They're faced away from us. There's 2 of them. So like I just said, the springbok are the second fastest land mammals. These cheetahs are the first. They can get up to 70 miles per hour in 3 seconds. They only run for about 30 seconds at a time before they start to slow down. They are not long distance runners. They are diurnal, which is pretty different from most cats. They are most active during the day. They do all of their hunting during the day to eliminate any nighttime competition. There's another one of my bags. So we definitely have a coalition, which is a group of cheetahs. These large rocks are called copies. There's some maintenance and some refurb going on in the area, so currently we will not be finding any lions up here. But if you still want to see some other big cats, I definitely recommend checking out the tigers that are in Asia on the Maharaja Jungle Trek. Sometimes the trails close if there's lightning or thunder in the area, but if you do get to see them, they are really cool and they really like water, so they're probably enjoying this rain. So there's a couple different antelope around here. First on the right, the shaggy brown antelope with the heart-shaped noses are waterbuck. They secrete a grease from their coat believed to make them waterproof, but it smells so bad it wards off predators. And here on the left, there's a small dark brown antelope and a couple more water buck. But the one with the horns here on the left is a bontebok, related to the wildebeest, known to have a beautiful purple coat when they stand in direct sunlight. Unfortunately, they are poached for those coats, so in the early 19th century, there were only 17 bontebok in the entire world. And although they are still extinct out in the wild today, their numbers are growing so much on zoos and reserves that they can also be put onto protected land closer to their natural habitat, so that one day it will be easier to reintroduce them back into the wild, which would be pretty cool. On that hill to the left, right in front of the tree, there's warthog, Pumbaa, that means foolish one in Swahili, actually very intelligent, and the largest of the burrowing mammals in Africa. They back up into their burrows like the one to the left, with their tusks out.
Ủa, nó nằm trong cái hang nè.
They also use those to dig their burrows, but they work smarter, not harder. They will find them abandoned or steal them from other animals. There's some rhinos straight ahead, right behind the ostrich eggs to the right. They're kind of hard to see, so I'll go slow. White rhinos. They get about 5,000 pounds. They're very social. They're usually found in their crashes. They're actually the most social of all existing rhinos today. And they do this thing called pair bonding, where they pick another rhino in their crash to
Con đà điểu nè, con chim bự lắm nè.
Like a best friend. There's some ostriches.
Wow, bự chưa?
They can run about 40 miles per hour. And they had some ostrich eggs back there, which are the largest of the bird eggs. They get about 3 pounds each. One is the equivalent to 2 dozen chicken eggs. And they are so tough that if you were to stand on one, it probably would not even crack. I don't think the ostriches would like that though. Now we're going to head into the final area of the reserve. This is the Magadi Glen. It's mostly farmland, so there might be some livestock here before we head back to the warden's post. There are some Nigerian dwarf goats under the awning of the building. Very tiny type of goats. They're so small, they take up very little space. The ideal livestock. Plus, they produce a very nutritious milk that farmers are trying to rely on rather than nutrition from their local wildlife to coexist with wild animals. The yellow box on the wooden post is the beehive fence from the Elephants and Bees project that I told you about earlier. Really great project. There's a whole bunch of them that Disney does work on through the Disney Conservation Fund. If you would like to learn more about them, of course you can check them out. Check it out with the cast members and the gift shops, and that's also where you can donate to it if you are interested. It's any amount. Disney will match every cent and give you a cool pin for it. You can also just reduce, reuse, recycle, replenish your environment, and if you learned any cool facts about animals or conservation, share them with a friend. Awareness is always the first step, so just by talking about the animals, you can help them out. Now this is a good time to check those rows. We have a few minutes ahead of us, although it is a long walk back to Africa if you forget something, so it's never too early to start checking.
Ở đây ice cream không ai xếp hàng luôn. Ice cream này đâu ai xếp hàng đâu. Ăn à.
Đợi xíu có thai mở ra có hai ăn còn thử.
Tưởng quay được chứ không quay được gì hết. Bên đây là mình skip nhiều like lắm luôn á.
Em nghĩ ngày hôm nay sẽ là ngày cuối cùng mà em đi Disney mà không có phát phát.
Thì đó mai mốt mình đi mà. Ví dụ mình đi 2-3 ngày á, mình chờ ok mình đi 1-2 ngày nên mua fast pass. sướng lắm hả? Cúc gỡ. Mình vô đây mình chụp cái tấm hình, hiểu không? Hồi nãy anh nói chụp tấm hình là vậy á.
Going to do this is by being matched to something called an avatar, and I'm here to help you guys get ready. But first, we have to scan you for Pandoran microparasites. All right, everyone, stay on your number and move your arms a bit. Okay, start scan. Scan. You've all got them. But don't worry, they're very common around these parts. Let's start the decon.
Initiating GMR decon.
Stay still over your number. You're not going to feel a thing. You're doing great. Almost done here.
They're all clear.
Great. Now let's go over how all this works. Like I said before, you're going to be matched to these things called avatars, which look a lot like the Na'vi. They're created by blending human DNA and Na'vi DNA. Once we match you to an avatar, thanks to a special link chair, your mind will be able to control that avatar. Using avatars to fly this way was all figured out by my boss, Dr. Jackie Ogden. She leads our science team, which is part of the Pandora Conservation Initiative, and we're here in the Valley of Moara studying banshees and their environment. Over a generation.
Quay anh.
Ủa, chúng có đi được không?
Không. Đi được hả?
Không được.
Ủa vậy? Đi đâu? Giờ đi vô easy lắm em. Giờ đi vô easy lắm.
It's 105 minutes, so almost 2.
Biết sao? Giờ có 100 phút à. Hơn 45 phút mà. Nhưng mà giờ đi ăn rồi trễ. Ăn qua bên kia cùng phố.
Bên kia shop nhiều lắm, bên kia là cái nguyên cái khu shop luôn. Bự lắm, đi mỗi giò có Zara luôn. Cái lẹ đó bụng rồi. Nó say đúng không? Chơi đó. Nó bị say. Nó bị Cookie ra đây coi mấy con sếu nè, Cookie ra đây. Coi mấy con sếu nè, thấy không? Con sếu hay con hạt gì đó không biết. Thấy cái mỏ đó không? Nó đang tắm. Đi lại gần đây nè. Không, nó đang tắm á, nó đang ngứa, nó gãi chắc. Nó ngứa, nó gãi á con. Thấy lạ không?
Thấy.
Vui không?
Mà sao miệng nó dài vậy?
Cái mỏ nó dài vậy, con chim mỏ nó dài vậy á. Có con mỏ ngắn, có con mỏ dài nha. Đây.
in my life.
We got 19 people. Can I take a picture of my nanny for that, please?
Nhiên Hương. Đây. Đây. Phải đi shadow qua. Chạy không được đâu, xa lắm.
The location, so we're either in this.
Này nước không à? Sao đi nước không vậy? Đi.
Tại vì khi nào mà thấy mà concert cái phong cách quay phim này.
Body cam. This is a body cam.
Body cam mà anh phải dầm nè. Ở đây này, đây là zoom in zoom out. Wow, anh thấy zoom in zoom out. Rồi đi nói tiếp đi.
Mình đi thẳng, đi thẳng. Mình đi thẳng đi.
Không, bỏ vào đầu cho. Thôi chú chị quá.
Ở đây có gì đi thẳng. Morimoto thấy luôn lên mình là nó đó.
Không cu đó kìa.
Hình như nó dụ tôi hay sao trời.
Ở đây có nhiều cái hiệu mà bên mình không có nè. Ở dưới ní lộ nè, dưới ní lộ nè. Dưới ní lộ nè. Nè Hương. Vô. Em muốn vô mua quần đùi không? Để mặc cho thoải mái vô. Yep. Có mà. Lấy cái bịch thôi đi ăn đi trễ giờ vô mua. Nói đi con. Rồi chào ba.
Dạ.
Đi qua con sông là bên trái. Đi qua luôn con sông. Đây nè. Không phải. Muốn. Đi lên. Không đi.
Moto hả?
Asia.
Mới tới đây. Thì vợ mới hỏi cái đó cái gì vậy? Mình hỏi cái đó cái gì vậy? Sao chị nói?
Cái gì mới? So I thought you meant like what just opened up here.
Nó không ra được cái mới nghe vậy đó. Thôi cái càng quán cái cây.
Thấy cái like không?
Ta nhìn kìa. Cái này là 4 người vô à. Bảo đảm không có để 6 người đâu.
Nếu phải 6 người mình kiếm restaurant khác.
Nếu mà cái like kiểu này á, mình thôi mình đi về mình tắm đi đó mình vô reservation 4 người người ta.
4 người nó cũng cho mình vô, mình vô được giải. Ai vô làm.
Vậy là con đi đàng hoàng các bạn cười không gặp.
Thấy con like đó không? Em thấy nhà hàng này like dài không?
Bạn cười con đó. Mẹ nắm tay đi mẹ.
Ủa không phải.
Giới thiệu lộn quá.
Ê chú ơi, cái này cái tiệm khác.
God, this is
Oh
so
my
thick.
god. Anh Hòa he has an eye. So wrong. Yeah, he knows. When you hear something, listen by one ear first. Outfit đó hả? I know it's kind of like basic bitch. Here's the bitch come.
What?
The bitch. Bitch. The bitch.
Không sướng mà.
No wonder, no wonder. No wonder. Right at the end of the line.
Ngồi được không vậy? Ngồi được không? Quay sushi nó làm nhìn hấp dẫn hơn.
Trời ơi, cookie vô.
Body size is gonna be like 6 or
Dạ. Không, đi đá không?
Em nhìn cái mặt nhỏ này là em đéo giống như nhỏ bơi nó vậy đó.
Ai?
Anh đi toilet cái nha. Đi toilet.
Không, nhà hàng mà không có người xếp line là vậy á. Khi nào nhà hàng có xếp line rồi nó khác.
tại vì 4 rưỡi.
Nhìn hoài vậy nè.
Tại mình đi trễ rồi mình khoa đi của mình 4 người mà mình tăng lên 6
Mình là
người.
người quá đáng mà. Chị em đi chỗ khác ăn cũng được vậy. Vậy đó mà làm mấy chung một mua hả?
Ừ. Thiệt á.
I don't think he's known for
Coi điện thoại ba hả?
He's known for sushi.
Maybe he didn't
Không
do
3
it.
cái đi coi điện thoại của bạn.
Nhưng mà thực ra cái sushi á, cái này nó bỏ lắm mà. Cái miếng á.
Không một cái nữa đi con.
But some him that he's doing.
Không một cái nữa.
It could be just hard.
Rồi cho coi nha, hôn 3 cái rồi phải cho coi nha. Rồi.
Đổi. giống cái này đó mà mình ra hơn thì cái này đang không
Under his name, but so but your
Đúng rồi.
Gì?